Good morning, everyone from Brisbane in Australia. I hope everyone has a beautiful day ahead if you're in Australia or New Zealand. I hope you have a beautiful sleep after this reading if you're in Europe or the UK. And Asia, I hope you're still having a good solid sleep. Yes, and the afternoon, I think it's the afternoon in the Americas. So hi to all my friends. Wishing you all really well during this time. This morning, I'm going to be sharing chapter 6, which is entitled Cycling In, and it's all about working with your emotions. So it's a very high emotive time at the moment, so I think the exercises in this chapter is a good start to looking and working with your emotions. So I hope you enjoy it. Chapter 6, Breathing Out Brave. Cycling in. Any form of self-reflection is great, unless your thoughts get stuck in a repetitive cycle or the blame always gets put on yourself or others, or if the thoughts lead to ongoing anger or sadness or other emotions. If your mind is on a spin cycle of persistent thoughts or emotions, it means that you're not going deep enough. Consciously, we know that repeating emotions of anger and sadness or repetitive changes or repetitive unchanging thoughts about a person or subject are not useful to us. Yet consciously we repeat over and over again. We don't know how to interrupt them. The high of experiencing these feelings, the heart palpitations, the excuses to gossip, the ongoing complaining, the feelings of sadness and depression are all as addictive as needing that next series of our favourite TV series. Addiction is simply something we can't stop, which we can work on changing through a variety of support mechanisms, including exercises contained in this book. More importantly, ongoing unhelpful emotions can create stress in the physical body, which can result in substantial health issues. Ongoing and persistent stress, worry, anger, and anxiety have great impacts on our mental health and physical wellness. We need to find ways to deal with our emotions so we can remain or regain our health and our happiness. Intellectualizing can only go so far. I've certainly gained a whole lot of relief from understanding why I do from a psychological perspective. Sometimes this has provided relief for my emotions, but more often than not, persistent emotions that I've felt for years crop up in my life and don't change. Emotions are our internal guidance system. They are the biggest keys to living a free and happy life. And emotions need to have their airtime in order to transform. This is where you need to harness your brave. It is brave work to feel your emotions completely. The exercises in this chapter will help you do this. Where do emotions hide? Sometimes emotions hang around in particular areas in your body, such as your heart, belly, or head. Sometimes they linger in your left ear or right toe. What's important is learning how to tune into your body and feel where the big emotion may be hiding. Start by practicing this now. Close your eyes, take some deep belly breaths, and feel what you may be currently feeling. For example, right now, I'm physically super comfortable. I'm sitting in a comfortable chair at a desk and I have a warm cup of strong black tea by my side. Yet when I feel into my body, I'm noticing that my heart is feeling a bit anxious. I ask my heart what that's about. She says she's feeling the worry of getting this book finished this week as I'd planned. I thanked her for letting me know and asked her what she wants me to do. She says more regular breathing exercises, practice more meditation as I go throughout the day, and check in with her more. I internally thank her and agree to do this as much as I can. The exercise can be as simple as that to begin with. To note, in the above practice, I've personified my heart. In doing this, I can have a dialogue with her and feel her as her own entity who has needs which I can choose to fulfill. You can do this with any organ, and I always find it remarkable what comes up when I when I do have a dialogue with my different body parts. Exercise. Identifying and talking with your emotions. Now, your turn. Think about a common feeling you experience that you know is not particularly helpful for you. Bring it into your mind's eye. Feel it. See it. Take some time to tune into this feeling. See how it shows up and plays out in your everyday life. Find any patterns. See any connections with people, places, events. Ask yourself the following questions. Where in my body am I feeling the emotion? What name can I give the emotion? What colour can I give it? If the emotions or thought patterns were to speak, what would they want to say to me? If it's too much for right now, go for a walk, stretch, run, swim, move. Then go back to sitting with these questions. Close your eyes and focus internally. Can you feel it in your body? What does it want to tell you? Do the same thing every time you catch yourself complaining or feel sadness and depression. Your feelings want to be recognized. They want you to be present with them. Sometimes presence with your true, deep feelings is all that is required for change. Sometimes this alone creates a shift, a lightness, a difference. When this happens, you can begin to feel more possibility for particular issues or for your life more broadly. This can then lead to creating a more brave in your life. Often feelings are attached to an experience in your past that has not been resolved, and the unresolved feelings from this time need attention. The amount of time is dependent on the issue and how much this feeling has been denied in your life. Once you're talking to your emotions, you can ask them what they want. They usually want your attention and love. Sometimes your inner child is lurking around and will ask things from you. Do it for him, her, them. Obviously only loving and kind acts towards yourself and others. For those unfamiliar with the concept of the inner child, Carl Jung is regularly referenced as the originator of the idea, and his works have been expanded on by psychologists and therapists ever since. Inner child work refers to addressing the unresolved issues from our childhoods. There are very often parts of you that weren't fully developed or experienced trauma during the early years, and these continue to exist within you, and they need their airtime. No childhood is perfect, and trauma can occur in seemingly simplest of instances. For example, falling over when you're 2 years old and your parents not having time to sit with you to help you process the pain and emotion can be traumatic for a child. How I do inner work is to find out what I really needed at that time. I was hurt, experienced pain, trauma, and then attempt to give this to myself. For example, you may be missing touch as a child, and you now go out and seek ways to experience touch, a safe touch as an adult. You may go for massages or other touch-based therapies, offer frequent hugs to loved ones or friends, or sign up for a partner yoga classes, etc. This is how the process can look. Cycling in. I'm just going to have a quick cup of tea, a sip. Cycling in example. Ali is a professional. She works in an engineering firm. She enjoys her work and genuinely wants to make a difference in the work she does for her team and also the people affected by her work. She worries about doing a good job and getting promoted one day. At night, she goes home and regularly drinks a couple of glasses of white by herself and watches her latest TV series. She goes out with friends and does kickboxing classes a couple of times a week and occasionally meets men when she can be bothered for a date or two. She often wakes up in the middle of the night thinking about her work and her current projects. Occasionally, her thoughts drift from her father's partner's problems and whether she'll ever find a man like him. Dependable, reliable, safe. Her ongoing struggle with her mother and not understanding or supporting her, the sister who never listens to her and who's just as annoying as when they were little. Her thoughts don't change, they just repeat. At 2 a.m., at 3 a.m., During the day, eating lunch in meetings with her managers drones allows her to give her some thoughts some airtime. This is her normal: interrupted sleep, distractions, scattered thoughts. She knows she's only kind of happy, kind of content, very often not. Ellie decides she wants change. She realizes that she thinks too much and that waking up several times a night is affecting her work. She doesn't know how to change it. Wine and TV series provide some relief. Drinks with friends do too. And the adrenaline from kickboxing. And the occasional sex every 6 months or so. But this diminishes pretty quickly after no contact from the other person subsequently makes her feel all the more depressed. Ellie decides to do something new. She decides to seek a therapist who works with her to understand her behaviours better. This helps her. But still, persistent feelings come up and she decides to sit down and feel them. She asks herself, what is the predominant feeling I have right now? But still, persistent thoughts come up and she decides, what's the predominant feeling I have right now? Answer, anxiety. Where do I feel it in my body? In my heart. Describe it. It feels super big, overwhelming. It's actually making me sick. It's too much. Sit with it, Ellie. Feel it. Ellie feels it for a while. Some time passes. She notices there's a change. It doesn't feel so big. Her heart feels a bit different. She decides to talk to her heart. Question. Heart, what do you need? Answer. I need more relief. I need to express the hurt I'm carrying about Mum. How do you think we should do this? I think it would be easier to put it in a letter and express everything, hold nothing back. Okay, we'll do that. Thank you for talking with me. Afterwards, Ellie has a nap or goes for a walk to allow this process to gently integrate with her. Then when she's ready, on the same day or next, she follows through with the agreement with her heart to write a letter to her mother. Regularly tuning into our my body, our house for our emotions, and feeling them and asking them what they want is the most simple yet effective method I've found to get to the core of the problem in my life and create sustained positive change. It's not easy work by any means, and we've all been conditioned to turn all our focus outside of ourselves and to seek the answers out there. My feeling experiment. I was resistant to doing emotional work with a psychologist and psychotherapist in the beginning. My homework was to sit around for a whole afternoon and just feel. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to discover the answer with my mind. My mind can solve all the problems, can't it? When I really began to sit with myself and feel fully for the first time, waves of emotion arose. It was hard, really hard. I was given instructions not to distract myself with phones or other devices, but just to sit and feel. I just let the thoughts flow, and when the feelings started to emerge, I started to cry. A lot. The following weeks were spent with scheduled afternoons of simply feeling, crying. I allowed the anger, hurt and shame to bubble forth. This work completely changed me. I became more centered, grounded and confident in myself and my desires. I was also able to see, accept and feel other people's emotions more. I realized they are nothing to be afraid of. Instead, they are gifts to our freedom. This work is certainly not for the timid, but the rewards are huge. No longer fearing your emotions or reactions to events creates so much freedom in your mind. Brave ways of being follows naturally. And for me, this is bliss. Work with a therapist. Working with a therapist can be helpful, especially if you are not finding shifts in your patterns or emotions, or if you continue to get stuck in one particular emotion when you're doing the cycling of emotions as per the exercise above. We could sit all day and gaze at our navels and get nowhere with our self-reflections, or we could do something different, go deeper, as in the above example. This is the difference. Having a psychologist, life coach, or other alternative therapist to help you sort through your thoughts, feelings, incessant ramblings is just so damn helpful. Externalizing rather than internalizing can be a very valuable exercise, and having an independent person to perhaps give you different or a fresh perspective can be more than valuable. They can also offer you the tools to help you sift through the rest of your stuff. Of course, this isn't for everyone, and you can start your process alone using the exercises in this book or with others. I know this has been super helpful for me personally in my journey to get support when I've been stuck. Some reflections for those who do see therapists a lot. Therapy, like anything else, can be addictive, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a relationship we rely on. Someone who is there 100% for us. This feels great. Well, if they're good at what they do, it won't feel nice all the time. The goal of therapy is that you won't need therapy after a certain amount of time. But this varies for each person and also the particular situation and circumstances they're in. If you have been with the same therapist for years, consider seeing someone new or try a different form of therapy. Viewing your issues from another perspective will provide valuable insights. If, on the other hand, you are someone who regularly does a multitude of courses, explores new techniques, and sees more than one therapist, pick one and stick with it for a year. Really get to understand your form of therapy and apply it to most aspects of your life. Cycling in. Identifying your emotions can be a little confronting at first. It can be hard work to simply sit and feel, and quite frankly, it can feel odd. We have been taught that everything that is important is outside of us, and we only need our grey matter to work out anything that is troubling us. I have forever wished that this was the case. It is only because I haven't been able to solve everything in my life through my thoughts and external actions that I have sought out teachers and methods that could give me answers to my persistent feelings. After spending over 15 years reading, attending courses, and practicing with clients and myself, I came to realize that I've been lied to. The answers are most certainly within. The exercises in this chapter are an excellent starting point for your internal discoveries, and the following chapters will have chapter 6. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a little food for thought. And I am interested in hearing what it's like for you if you do decide to have a start of a practice of one of the exercises in this chapter. The next chapter, chapter 7, is a lot bigger. It's all about blind spotting and finding out more about your unconscious and blind spots. I'm actually going to be doing that reading tomorrow morning, so this same time, because I have dinner on Thursday night. So tomorrow morning, same time, I'm doing chapter 7 live. So I hope you enjoy that. Again, if you've got questions or comments, feel free to comment below, and I look forward to answering them. Thanks everyone. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful sleep, or a beautiful evening, and talk to you soon.